I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Greg and Rec are not here.
Correct.
We do not have minutes for the July 2nd. Yeah. We have minutes for August 18th. Does everyone have those minutes? Yes. Motion to approve those minutes? So moved. So motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And one abstention. Oh, Bob.
I'm the only person here to give a report. And the report I handed out to you is a very simple one at this time of year. And all it really says is that expenses for the general government are running a little higher than you'd expect for the amount of the year that's gone by. But that's normal because we have early requirements on such things as transferring all the money out of the budget to the capital sinking fund, for instance. The same thing is true of bonded indebtedness. As I told you before, we usually set things up so that there's big payments in July and August. The revenues, if anything, I think the revenues are running as well as we've ever seen them. It's really quite good. Remember, we had $5.5 million before we even got to July 1st. Those are now in this number. But we've already received over 54% of the amount of revenue from taxes that we have budgeted for the year. So Barry's doing something right.
Yeah, they work hard.
The state of Connecticut, the only thing we've received there so far is the town aid road payment, half of what we usually get. And the local revenues are doing well.
Okay.
Okay?
Just one question, Catherine Hepburn, is there any reason that's running a little bit higher? Is that, no, it's not drastic, I've seen it, we've overrun it several times, I'm just curious.
I don't know the answer to that. Carl usually comments on that, and
Okay.
he's not here. I don't follow the case.
Great. Of course, the other one's the environmental health.
Yeah, well, that's just paying for nurses up front.
Okay.
Bob, do you know when we'll have the final accounting of which departments are overrun by how much, when all that will be totaled and when we'll be able to see that?
Yeah, I tried to get it to you today, but being the first of the month, it was I only had the information to work with as of yesterday. So
Oh, good.
as of the 15th, I should be able to give you a report like the one that we put in the annual town report, in the back where we by line item, I show you what the budget is and what the actual expenditure is. And I do the same thing for both revenues and expenses. I'll try to have that for you at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Bob on this report? All right. Anything else, Bob?
No, we're just working on getting ready for the auditors, who are the next time they come in will be mid-October, right after Columbus Day. And we should easily have our financial statements ready for them. Things are going well. We had a perfect cash reconciliation that Janet did for us, and the information is coming in well.
Great.
Lisa's working on the final payables. I gave her all the latest check registers on Friday, and she's working on those, and we should have those in a few days.
All right. No other questions? All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Carl is not able to make it, that's why he's not here. I will say, I talked to him today, and he's gonna be bringing 3 requests for money that will all go to the town meeting. The roof at the town hall. There's an RFP out to change over the furnace at Youth and Family to gas, and the trees that he mentioned at our last meeting. He said it will total somewhere, all 3 will total somewhere around $100,000, which would come from the capital non-recurring account, and certainly go to town meeting, which he hopes to do in October.
At that time, is he going to do the, what was that machine called? DPW?
Yeah.
Is he going to do that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's-
Yep, that'll be in the public, town.
I'm surprised that took so long to get that one on the table. He needed it, but at least I guess we have by the winter time, we good.
Yep. So that's all he wanted me to relay.
Question,
Yep.
you know if that roof is the Park and Rec roof, or the whole town hall type stuff? Okay.
Well, it's not the entire building, I believe.
Okay.
Wasn't it along the front?
I thought it was the town hall roof.
I thought it was along
Well,
the front.
they were trying to fix the trim and everything on the front of the building, but over time, the roof over at Park and Rec on the other half of the building has been leaking on and off.
Yeah.
And that's it. Is there any public comment?
I just have a couple questions, actually, when you just mentioned the roof. Do you guys have any idea how old the roof is, and if we have any, recourse with the person who did the roof? I mean, I just didn't think it was that old, but.
I don't know, to answer the
Okay.
question, to answer both questions. I would say it's probably beyond warranty, if that's what
Okay.
you mean. That's my guess, and that's just a guess.
Then my other question is, at the last police commission meeting, there was a ton of talk about all these problems with the building. Do we have monies available to fix this stuff? Because at this point, it seems like nobody's coming forward and, laying claim to who made all these mistakes in this building. Like, are we gonna have money to be able to fix that and then, I don't know, in litigation get it back?
I believe they're bonded.
I think there's a bond on all that, and they have to decide who's responsible. So
Okay,
there is money held back on some of those accounts, I don't know if it's enough or not.
Okay, because rumor has it that they weren't bonded, and that's why I'm just asking
No,
that
they're definitely
question.
bonded.
Okay.
I've heard that.
Because nobody is taking responsibility for anything, that's why I just was asking that.
Right.
And we don't have a general contractor either, they explained that it was an architectural design to build.
None of that has come to this board.
Okay, no, I
yet,
just
so-
didn't know if, it just until, so those matters don't get worse and we have bigger problems, if we had to fix them, could we pay for it and then
I
try
guess
to
it
be
depends on-
reimbursed?
I'm on the committee, and the issues that were brought up are under investigation, and allegedly next week, the general contractor will have answers and solutions to the issues that were exposed
Okay.
over the last 2 months.
Okay.
There is a contingency fund. I don't know the exact dollar amount, because it's been a while since the building committee has met.
Mhm.
So that will be part of the solution if it costs any more money. Also, each contractor only has a substantial amount of their bill held back until such time as the general contractor and the CEO of town okay their work, and then that money is released to them. So there are still many subcontractors that have not been released.
Okay,
In fact, I don't think any of the money has been released, just the list has been publicized.
okay. You would think that they'd want to get their work done and get paid, but it just, he's talking about relocating to Custom Drive, and then there's money spent there too, and I didn't, thank you for answering that, because, nobody has said anything about what's going on except all the problems.
Right, well, we don't have the answers yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week.
And I'd also like to thank you guys, because you seem to be one of the few boards that does have your meetings that everybody shows up to, and I do appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's reported.
Is there any other public comment?
Thank you, John, too.
All right, well, thank you for coming out for such a brief meeting.
I have a question. Over the last several months, things have occurred in town that I think evade in some sense the responsibilities and rights of the Board of Finance.
Okay.
I referred to an article in the the Harbor News when the police department submitted a bill to the Board of Education, and the Board of Education denied the request. Now, it's my opinion that no monies can be no tax dollars can be taken from one department to another without Board of Finance approval. There's an open question whether or not they can use off-budget monies to pay a bill of that nature. Also, I would question whether or not any department in this town has the right to use tax dollars on any matter that is not already budgeted. And that would refer, again, back to the issue of the police department. It would refer back to the lease that we had signed for the emergency management with monies coming from capital outlays specifically for the rent on the old building. So I'd like those questions, you can look at it, I'm asking the chairman to give an opinion on it. But I think that we have to look at it, just for the, going forward, we know what our rights are, and more importantly, what our responsibilities are. So I think they're the two major questions that I'll ask.
We'll find out. That's a good point.
You want to, I know this is for the next meeting, but as for the general fund balance policy, are the underlined items in here new? Is that why they're underlined? Is that some new pieces of that? Bob, do you know at all? Anyway, I received it, I read it, and I know it's the next meeting, but underlined target level balance, it's all underlined. And in addition to limiting issues, it's underlined. Are those two
Who's
additional
gonna
to
give
the
the
old?
extra stuff to give to you, I don't know.
Where is it underlined?
No, right here, the policy. Right here, she had this underlined and this underlined. Is that new, the
I
policy?
don't remember seeing that.
I've never seen it underlined either.
Well, I didn't underline it, that's why I got it there.
No, she had it, it was way down the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, you didn't see, I missed it the first time I read it.
Okay, my
Well,
copy
this is,
doesn't
you're
have
gonna
it
talk next time
underlined.
about it's called the general fund
Mine
balance
has-
policy,
Right,
adopted by the Board of Finance, adopted by the Board of Selectmen. And this is a draft.
right.
Yeah.
So all I'm asking is if the underlying stuff is something that's new, it's been added and that's what we're looking at,
Well,
or
I'm trying-
we're just looking at the whole policy.
Yeah, I'm trying to answer it by saying, my copy doesn't have any underlining, so I don't know the answer to your question.
Okay.
Want me
I guess
to email her?
we'll find out.
How am I the young guy that don't underline
You
stuff?
just have a special permit.
Wow.
Do you want me?
What's the revision date on yours? Draft is 8/31/2015.
9/1/15.
I want to.
Well, that's the difference, is I've got 8/31 with these underlined, I don't have your 9/1.
Oh, here it goes.
Thank you. Now I can look at it.
I don't have either.
You don't have any, you didn't get any? Oh, yes, you must, oh, you can't, I know, oh.
Well, thank you, Bob, I appreciate
All
that.
right.
I'll wait for the
We
next
will
meeting.
find
All
out.
right.
We'll find
Can
out.
we ask Bob a question about
Sure.
this, or do we have to wait?
No, it's okay.
The time to ask Bob questions is coming on.
Okay.
Kidding. Go ahead.
Bob, under the methodology to achieve target level of fund balance, it says for a significant financial or other emergency. So is that a financial emergency, or is that just for a significant financial issue? Does it have to be a emergency for a significant financial?
I think,
Can you ask that again?
Yeah.
let me give you an example. Remember when we had the storm damage, and we had to find money quickly in order to clean trees off roads and things like that? There was a state of emergency called by the first selectman. That would be what I think is referred to.
That would be.
You can go to the fund balance,
Yep.
providing we declare some emergency, whether it be financial or otherwise.
So for a significant financial, it would be an emergency.
An emergency.
Okay.
Something unusual where we need to have funds spent. But it will have to be declared a special case by the selectmen.
Right.
Sure.
Does your copy say draft at the top?
No. Oh, yes, it is. Draft 9/1, yes.
Okay, this is draft 8/31 and mine's on the line too.
Oh, okay.
Mine wasn't.
Okay.
And I pulled mine off the computer today.
If I look at that, it's a day late and $1 short.
Literally.
Is yours 9-1 or 8?
Mine not 9-1, 9-1.
The 831 is the one that has the, because I got that one too.
Okay.
I didn't get a 9-1 yet. Discrimination.
Any other questions?
Huh?
You know, obviously the question is, shall we or shall we not set a range that we want to shoot for?
Mhm.
And her recommendation is 10 to
10 to
12%.
12%.
And I've said before that we had been using a value like 8.5 because that's what Moody's keeps telling us is the minimum amount that would allow us to have a rating increase.
And we're at 8 now?
Well, 14-15 is gonna put us just a little over 8, okay? The question is whether you want to endorse this idea of shooting for a range between 10 and 12%.
Okay.
Questions? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? Second, anyone? Second. All those in favor,
No comments
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Wow, that's a record.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you guys.
Coming out.